Hello everyone, I'm Nikos Kondelidis and I'm doing my PhD at the Knowledge Representation and Reasoning Group at the VU, and in this poster I'm presenting my thesis topic. My thesis focused on the task-oriented ontology alignment problem and suggests a new methodology that is inspired by the referential language games. Usually ontology alignment methods are requiring the ontologies to fully expose their knowledge, or at least partly, and this is not always feasible as this cannot be applied on private databases or private ontologies. On the other hand, referential language games are defining a way that agents can interact with each other without exposing any of their knowledge in order to be able to refer to objects of their environment by creating a new language that relates words with object characteristics as each agent perceives the objects, which is a different way. To that end, we are defining the world objects to be the common instances across the ontologies, and the characteristics of each object are extracted by triples that are relating an object with its properties, assuming that the ontologies are provided in a knowledge graph form. Subsequently, the word interpretation is relating a word with a set of characteristics in a Boolean way. And we define one assumption to be a relation between one word and a single characteristic. The agents interact in episodes, which consist of a speaker agent and a listener agent, a set of objects which are visible in this episode, which is a subset of the world objects, and a target object, which is one of the objects. The speaker is aware of the identity of a target object, which is one of them, and the task is to be able to bring across this information to the listener so that then the listener can validate that it interpreted that information correctly by selecting an object. And if that selected object is the target object, then this is a successful episode. Finally, we also define the distinguishing characteristics that depend of one object, that are the characteristics of an object that are not shared by any other object in this context. So these depend both on the episode, or specifically the context objects, but also on the ontology or the agent, as one agent represents one ontology. The interaction in a simplified way is that the speaker knows that the identity of the target, it calculates its distinguishing characteristics, and accordingly it selects which word to utter, or it creates a new word if necessary, and then creates an assumption or a set of assumptions that relate the word with the distinguishing characteristics of the target object. Then it utters the word, and the listener tries to interpret the word using its memory or randomly if it's a new word, and retrieves a set of characteristics. According to this set, it selects the object with which is best matching with respect to which is scored based on the retrieved characteristics and the object characteristics in the context. And after selecting an object, it also creates assumptions which relate the uttered word by the speaker and the distinguishing characteristics of the selected object by the listener. As said earlier, if this is the same episode, then the same object, then this is a success, and both agents save these assumptions, their assumptions in their memory. Otherwise, they make sure that they're not anymore in their memory. We performed some proof of concept experiments in which we used synthetic knowledge graphs, and each agent or its ontology is the same knowledge graph, simply defined in a different namespace. And we used two different knowledge graphs in our experiments. One consists of 10 triples describing 3 objects, and the other consists of 20 triples describing 6 objects. And our population of agents were either 2 or 3. And of course, its interaction is between 2 agents. Finally, we also tested how the number of objects in the episode or the context size is affecting our methodology. Our proof of concept experiments show that they successfully converge in a way that they are always able to successfully communicate with each other, coming up with useful alignments, and motivates us to further study this approach. Thank you for your attention.